Africa.
Of course, I've physically been in West Africa and in South Africa, but never have I been to East Africa.
Well, you should make it a mission because we say Ethiopia is the cradle of mankind.
There you go.
We all started from there, no?
Mhm.
Mm.
Well, what I find really impressive is that any of the districts I've ever met with in the continent of Africa, regardless of the area, is that they're all looking to develop leaders to help the countries that they're in. It's not just a individual journey, it's more of a community uh, countrywide journey. And when I was in South Africa, they were saying we're building leaders for Africa. So it was quite interesting to see that different context.
Good.
For
Good
those who are
morning,
okay.
distinguished leaders, guests, and Toastmasters. Welcome to this special breakfast leadership conversation. This morning is not about titles, it's about responsibility, it's about growth. We are privileged to host three extraordinary leaders whose journey reflects excellence, resilience, and intentional growth. After introducing each speaker, I will ask a question directly inspired by their journey, focused on uncovering transferable wisdom. Then we'll move into deeper thematic insights that connect leadership identity, performance, and legacy. Let us begin. Distinguished Toastmaster DTM Richard joined Toastmasters in 2006 at the recommendation of Les Brown. Quickly rose through leadership, ultimately serving as the 2020-2021 International President for Toastmasters International. During his presidency, he launched the International Presidents World Tour, connecting virtually with members in over 100 countries and speaking in person across 5 continents. A recipient of the USA Presidential Award for Volunteerism 2018, Richard is also deeply involved with organizations such as Queens International and Lions Club International. Richard holds degrees in electrical engineering and international business and is a co-author of Poking the Cadaver, a forensic approach to public speaking. He is recognized worldwide as a leader, coach, mentor, and speaker, known for his mantra. Being a leader is not about being the center of attention. It's about being the epicenter of action. Richard, welcome. So,
Thank you for
Richard,
having me.
you entered Toastmasters at the recommendation of Les Brown and eventually led it globally, connecting with members in over 140 countries. When you transitioned from participant to global leader, what belief about leadership did you have to unlearn? And what new belief replaced it?
I think with any leader, when we step into that role, we're accustomed to what is around us. As leaders in clubs, as leaders in districts, we see that. We don't necessarily see beyond that. Well, when you step into a global leadership role, you start to see the world for what it is and understand that you are just a small part within it. That the beliefs you have that maybe you grew up with, that you learned along the years, might not be the actual realization of the world around you. And as I stepped into that global leadership, as I started visiting members from around the world, I realized that there were so many uniquenesses. There is a common bond between all of us, but we are all unique. Our needs are unique. Our growth patterns are unique. And as leaders, we need to separate what we believe from what's reality. And I think when you step into global leadership, that reality becomes very apparent very quickly.
Thank you so much, Richard. Now, we have distinguished Toastmaster Dite Mekedela Mekuria. Is a passionate marketing professional, currently serving as a marketing lecturer at St. Mary's University. He is also a business and finance coach for E4 Impact, an MBA program in entrepreneurship run with jointly St. Mary's University and Università Cattolica in Milan, Italy. Mekedela is the managing partner at Edelweiss Marketing Consultancy and a recognized media personality on issues related to marketing, branding, and human skills. Mekedela is a founding member and former vice president of the Ethiopian Marketing Professional Association. He is also a distinguished Toastmaster, the highest honor in Toastmasters International. Mekedela is known for creative teaching, inspiration, and storytelling that makes learning transformative. Welcome, Mekedela.
Thank you for having me, DTM Demelash.
So, Dite Mekedela, you operate at the intersection of marketing, coaching, storytelling, and leadership development. From your experience, building brands and people, what invisible human skills determines whether someone becomes influential rather than simply knowledgeable?
I always believe everybody has a story that is worth telling, and a story that is worth sharing. As leaders, we think by being up front and being at the very front of the leadership channel, we think we inspire many. But I learned through the journey, if we are from the back, if we operate as the kingmakers sometimes, it brings the best out of people. But when we do so, we need to also learn by sharing our experiences, by sharing our stories, and by inspiring the individuals to bring the best out of themselves. Like brands, individuals have also a way of sharing their journey, but you could make them open up if you give them the platform to shine, if you give them the platform to grow. One of the things I learned in my Toastmaster years, before I joined Toastmasters, I used to think I am the expert in the room as a leader. Now, through Toastmasters, I learned everybody is an expert so long as you find a way to make them utilize it. When you make them feel empowered, when you make them feel recognized and seen, people show their visibility better. Leadership is usually the best if we see it from a different angle, from an angle that is less egoistic, from an angle that is less about me, but about others. And when we do that, they get the chance to flourish. And in marketing, we said brands are created by the company, not actually. Brands could be created by the company, but they grow because of the people that use them. Our brand is something that is nurtured by the experience of others. And our leadership is the same way. We could have the title, but it is the interaction that we have with the people around us that make our leadership brand grow better. Back to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Mekedela. We have learned that from DTM Richard, separating what we believe from the reality, as well as from DTM Mekedela. Everyone is expert as long as we empower, support, and encourage and bring them to the front. Thank you so much. So we have distinguished Toastmaster DTM's Deepa Surendran, served as the District Director 2023-2024, and led the newly formed District 127 to achieve a Smelly Distinguished Award and world #1 status. She describes herself as a student by nature, an auditor by profession, and an author by passion. Deepa, welcome.
Thank you.
So, distinguished Toastmaster Deepa, leading a newly formed district to world #1 required more than strategy. What leadership standard or cultural decision made excellence non-negotiable in your district?
Thank you, DD Demelash, for that brilliant question and a good introduction also. Thank you very much. Leadership from Toastmasters, what I've learned is based on camaraderie and then focus on helping others grow along with yourself. And that will for sure lead all of us to excellence. And when all our people, all the Toastmasters around us, if they are able to achieve excellence or make it make their dreams come true by delivering speeches, by achieving their goals, then excellence is, it will become a fact. There is no negotiation is required if we are actually focused on ourselves and the people around us. It was strategy only because district didn't have or district didn't care district's goals with anyone, but we were focusing more on our people, our Toastmasters goals, their hopes, why they joined Toastmasters, and helping them achieve them. And that is the reason those members helped the clubs to achieve excellence, and then those clubs helped the district to achieve its goal, something like, dream coming true. That's what happened. So we didn't think big. We started small, realistic at the basic level, and then it helped us achieve our goals at the end. And we are so happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Deepa. Excellence is non-negotiable when we support our members, encourage them to deliver their speeches, conduct the meeting, and what happens at the end is the growth of the members is the growth of the club, and it grows the district absolutely. So thank you so much, Deepa, for that insight. Leadership often begins with ambition, but it matures with responsibility. Richard, let us begin with you. Was there a defining moment when you realized leadership is responsibility, not recognition?
Interesting question, because I've never been one that's needed to be in the spotlight, that felt that the title defined who I was. So I never saw it as, you know, the center of attention type role. But I did realize probably around 2004, when I was going to school for my master's degree, the responsibility that came with leadership. And the responsibility that came from leadership regarding a much wider group than what I was used to. Because I was starting to see the world from a different perspective. I was starting to see leaders that weren't like me, leaders that had something else to offer. And I think that we oftentimes become siloed in our beliefs on what leadership is. And because of that, we tend to follow that same philosophy time in and time out. I'm sure you've always heard the statement, we have always done it that way, so we're going to continue to do it that way. Leadership can be the same way. I've always been a leader this way, so that's the way I'm going to lead. But when you start experiencing different leadership styles, when you start surrounding yourself with a larger group of leaders with different philosophies, different thoughts, it starts to make you a well rounded leader. And that's when you really realize the responsibility that comes with it. Because as leaders, it's not about us, it's about the individuals that we're leading. And it's up to us to help them achieve their level of success. And I think when we start to realize that, it it really changes the model of what leadership is. So I would say, yeah, probably around 2004 when I had my first real worldwide experience was when I realized the responsibility that came with it.
Thank you so much, DTM Richard. Mekedela, building on that, what was your defining realization?
I think it was some 15 years ago when I was a department chair for the university that I'm currently working with. And I had 26 staff members. And when I became the department chair, I thought I am the maker and the breaker of the team. I assumed that I have all the power to make change, to make impact, to influence everyone. And during that time, I read a book by Robin Sharma, a book entitled The Leader with No Title. The moment I read that book, I realized there are times, even if we have the titles, if we don't have the actual influence on others, our power becomes just something that's not going to bring an impact. Then I realized how I could utilize my influence on others rather than just simply pushing it when I started listening more. So, as leaders, we think we are the first to speak. Then I realized as leaders, we are expected to be the last to speak. There is one story that Mandela always shares. When he was asked what he learned from his father, he said, in every tribal meeting that my father used to chair, he was the last person to speak. It's not because he didn't have ideas to speak, but it is because he wanted to listen everybody's opinion. And that was a very transformative idea for me. And Ever since then, whenever I chair my departmental council meeting, I made sure I bit my tongue so that I won't have the urge of speaking first. So I give all the members to speak, then I build on the ideas that they share. And that transformed how the team functioned, and it also changed how I interacted with them. Now, 15 years on, I'm not the department chair now. I'm just a faculty member. But what I say in the meetings hold water because they have seen that I was a good listener and I have ideas to share. Because of that, I am the leader with no title currently. Back to you.
Thank you so much, DT Mekedela. Uh, yeah, Deepa, from your journey, what shifted for you?
Um, I think this is one of the learnings we get in our leadership journey. In the initial days of our leadership journey. The moment I truly realized leadership is about responsibility, not recognition or any other thing. I mean, it is a collective thing, it is a blessing, it is a commitment, it requires our time, and it is a pain also sometimes. Came when I saw how the success of entire team depended on each other's commitment and how collective effort was essential for a sustainable success or sustainable progress. When I became the VP membership of the club for the first time, 12 new members were added in the first half itself. However, I soon understood that maintaining was ensuring quality and ensuring continued engagement was a shared responsibility amongst the entire excom, and we need support from other senior members as well. When some members out of the 12 new members didn't renew, it underscored that if one department or individual fails, that it impacts the whole club. That realization shifted my perspective. Leadership is about taking the responsibility for the collective outcome, supporting and guiding the team and the individuals separately through challenges and understanding that success is a shared journey. That was the turning moment. From that moment, I committed to working more collectively, focusing on the responsibility over recognition, knowing that true leadership is about making a positive impact on others and the organization as a whole. Nothing less than that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have learned from this leadership identity from Richard that focusing on individual as well as from DT Mekedela. He practically showed us leading even without having titles, and Deepa supporting others, empowering others is also one of the way how we realize the leadership. Thank you so much for that. Now, let us discuss about decision making under pressure. True leadership is tested when clarity disappears and pressure rises. Magdala, let's begin with you. When clarity disappears and the stakes are high, what mental framework guides your decisions?
I think one of the major principles that I live by is whatever happens would definitely happen, but everything that happens is a learning opportunity as well. We're not perfect, and perfection is an illusion. All the decisions that we make may have consequences, and owning the consequences is something that is quite important. And this is what I tell my team. Don't be afraid of making decisions. Don't be afraid of making mistakes at the same times. But what I urge them to do is, have you learned something out of it? And that's what I live by. Whenever we are pressured, cornered by different scenarios. We have to make decisions. But one of the things that I have also learned, as I said earlier, is when you make others have the opportunity to speak, you have a different perspective of ideas. And that's something that is quite an important aspect. There is a TED talk by, I forgot his name, I'd remind you later on, but he said, divide the people in your circle into three. One third of the people around you should be people who are older, more experienced than you, so that you could have issues, ideas to ask of. One third of them should be people who are in your area, so that you could have that healthy competition with, that you could use them as your sounding board. And one third of them should be younger people or less experienced, so that you could give your thoughts and ideas. Whenever I have these challenging moments, there are people that I usually look up to and ask for consult. I have this challenge, I have this kind of issues. What would be the best way to go forward? When we think we have all the answers, that is when we make our biggest mistakes. When we empower others, when we become vulnerable as leaders, knowing the fact that we still have areas to learn, that would make us grow better. Wayne Dyer always says, you can never be too old to learn, and you can never be too young to teach. There is always something we all learn, and there is always something that we could give. And that clears the challenge we face when we are pressured and cornered for decision making.
Thank you so much, Detail Mekedela. Okay, Richard, building on that.
I'm not sure how I could build on that. There was a lot of great information tucked in that brief speech there. I think for me, the questions that often come up are how and why. And oftentimes we put the how before the why. How do we accomplish this? How do we do this? And that's actually the wrong approach. We need to put the why first. Why are we doing this? Why are we making this decision? Who will it benefit or who will it harm? Before you put the how in. And I see a lot of leaders who approach things from a how perspective. How are we going to do this? How are we going to implement this? How are we going to X? Without understanding why we're going to do it. And when I took the office of the international president, it was in 2020, in the heart of the historical pandemic, whose name I will not mention. The question wasn't how, because we didn't know. The questions became why. Why should we move online? Why should we change our convention? Why should we change the platforms? Why, why, why? Because until you understand the why, you can never implement the how. And oftentimes I will see leaders, clubs, districts fail because they're too busy focused on the how and not enough on the why. And as members and as leaders, when something changes, when some new initiative comes out, what's the first question that's often asked? Why are we doing this? Not how are we doing this? And if our members and other individuals are asking why, that should be the first question we ask ourselves. So I think for me, those are the defining questions as a leader. Why before how?
Thank you so much, Detail and Richard. Deepa, from your lens.
I don't know how what to add or after these great people talk. Um, if I say my thoughts are always inclined towards ethics, and doing the right thing. I'm attracted to Toastmasters International mainly because of its core values at this point of time, especially the first and the last one, the integrity and excellence. I always strive to do the right thing and the best thing for everyone. Uh, when I started my district director term, we had everything, every ingredient readily available for failure. We are starting new. So many different people are coming together, and everything, like the fee increase. You must be remembering that was the time the fees got changed from 45 to 60, and we were just coming out of that big the villain Dietem Richard is mentioned, COVID. And many seniors were away from Toastmasters because of the online platform, and then from our change from traditional path to the pathways. So everything was ready for a perfect failure. But then we had to move forward, as we just mentioned it. Richard just mentioned why. But one thing was there: are we doing it right and beneficial for others? As Rotarians say, um, is it the truth? Is it fair? Is it beneficial for everyone? These questions, if we are able to get answered properly, then the result will be excellence. These are the questions guiding me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have learned, especially making a decision under pressure. From Dite Mekedela, like having a team, one side of the team is experienced people, and one side of the team is equal level, and one side of the team that require experience and have areas to grow. And from Dite Richard as well, it's very important to differentiate the how and the why. The why should come first. Who will be benefit from this decision? So it requires that thinking as well. And as well from Deepa, we have learned who will be the same, who will be where, who will just benefit from that decision as well. So this is making decision under pressure. Really, if we work on this area, it supports us in addition to the experience that we have in our journey. Thank you so much. Now, behind every visible achievement lies invisible discipline. We call it this the inner work. So, Deepa, let us begin with you. And what personal discipline sustains your leadership effectiveness? You are muted, Deepa.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, we are talking about discipline, and we cannot succeed without discipline. The success we achieved in our district is mainly because of the focus we maintained throughout the year. Our target from the beginning was based on the district mission, that is to help every member and every club achieve excellence. And the club is able to help all of its members. That was the one thing and the only thing for us. And if we are able to achieve that, we thought, yeah, we achieved certain level of success. Because as I already mentioned, we were starting new. We had every reason to deviate from this particular target, that helping all the members achieve their goals, because so many things, when we become district directors, so many things are there on our table. And where to focus, that is the only thing which is defining our success, I believe. 365 days, we will have new things coming or on our way. In our team, many leaders were never fully aligned with the district mission. So that was another challenge. And we were just coming out of that particular villain, the COVID. As I mentioned, so many other reasons. So despite all these obstacles, if we were able to focus on that one thing, members' dreams, their goals, then we would get into what we were looking for from the beginning, that is excellence. And we managed to do that because of our members, mentors. Our district advisor was always, or every day, he was reminding us about this one thing, that focus on club's excellence, focus on members. And we were directly, individually connected with most of our members through the entire district team, area directors and division directors and the district team. So that made the difference. That made everybody focus on their own development. Why they joined Toastmasters? They were focusing on their dreams rather than any other entity's target. And that actually eventually helped us achieve success or achieve excellence in our district. So that one discipline, the one thing, that is focus. That will lead us for sure to success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Focus for excellence is one of the discipline that implemented. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, let's move on creating leaders, multiplying leaders. So great leaders build results. Exceptional leaders build other leaders. Mekedela, let's begin with you. How can leaders intentionally multiply leaders rather than create followers?
One of the things that we've learned in Toastmasters and that it has made us practice is the joy of having people to mentor us, the joy of having others to mentor in our life as well. And that is something that we should all embrace when it comes to leadership. The fact that we are all here for a season, not for a lifetime. We could go any day. Tomorrow is not granted for everyone. What we know for sure is that we are here. When we live from that angle, we are going to be in a position to think, okay, if I'm not going to be around tomorrow, what would happen to the legacy that I'm building? What would happen to the institution that I am supporting? And that would make us look into the circle around us and inspire them to bring on board. And one of the things that I used to practice when I was the president for the club that I am part of, Jupiter Toastmasters, halfway through the Toastmaster year, I started giving the chairmanship, chairing the session to different EXCO members. The reason being is there would be a time that they are going to be coming higher to the ladder of the presidency to chair meetings. Unless we do that, it would be a challenge. The same practice, because of Toastmasters, the benefit that Toastmasters has given me, I also implemented it in my department meetings at the university as well. Each of the faculty members would take turn to chair the meeting. As we know, none of us have learned how to chair a meeting in a formal learning environment. We learned it by doing it. Unless we give people the opportunity to do so, we don't see them coming to the front floor. The best way we make leaders is by giving them the opportunity. We got the opportunity to lead, but others should also have the opportunity to practice it as well. It's not a property, it is a temporary seat. And knowing that changes everything.
Thank you so much, DT Mekedela. So in Toastmasters, we say the tagline for Toastmasters, where leaders are made. So DTM Richard, how do you approach this in multiplying other leaders?
This is quite an interesting question in how we define leaders and how we identify future leaders. Dhananjaya in his speech said, "I see something in you." And we look at individuals and we may say we see something in you, but is it leadership or is it something else? And I tend to look at leadership and leadership development from a couple different perspectives. First is skill. Does somebody have the skills to step into a role? And skills are important, but they are not the most important thing. The most important thing for me is whether someone is passionate about taking on that role or not. Because we can train skills. All of us in this room, all of us in this Zoom platform have trained somebody to take on a leadership role. However, you can't train passion. And if someone takes on a leadership role because they have skills and they're not passionate about doing it, are they really going to be the best at it? Are you really going to get the best out of them that they can be? However, if there's someone who has the passion to do something, maybe has never ever done it before, but really wants to give it a try, and you set them up with mentors to help them develop those skills, that's the leader for the future. Because now not only they got the passion for it, but now they've developed the skills for it. So for me, when I look at future leaders, I want to look at the passion first before the skill set. Because if I put a person in a role, they have the skills and they're not happy about doing it, it's not going to be beneficial to us. It's not going to be beneficial to them. And oftentimes we we see clubs, districts get into this philosophy of we have to fill a spot. We can't have it vacant. So we'll put anybody that's breathing into it just so there's not an empty spot. Well, that continues to propagate year after year after year after year. And you end up with years of individuals not wanting to be in those roles, but just filling a spot. So for me, when I'm developing leaders, I'm looking for passion first, what skills you have, and then filling the gap that for those things you don't.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So the most dangerous moment in leadership is believing we have arrived. So, Deepa, despite your achievements, what are you currently working to improve and why?
You're on mute.
Learning is never ending, in my opinion. And it is told that from birth to death, we are supposed to learn. Otherwise, we start dying. So why to take risk? So we are continually learning and trying to improve ourselves. Um, in my perspective, whatever I learned, I am trying to impart to others. I'm currently guiding other district leaders. And now at this moment in our organization, there is a big change happening because the realignment from at the time of preparing the success plan, those things were not anticipated. So those changes, they are actually, in a difficult time. They are facing a difficult time. And for me as well, I am not that familiar with all those changes which started from this realignment thing. So I'm learning those changes, whatever triggered from that, and I am trying to help the district leaders. That is one part of it. And as a person, I am kind of what is that? always I am looking for perfection, and I want to do things in a very strict manner, control freak maybe, if I admit. So I'm trying to change that perspective. I'm trying to take it kind of easy, and so I'm going for what is that? Taking calculated risks, even if if I'm not getting the desired result, it's okay. I'm trying to learn that. I'm trying to imbibe that, taking things light lightly. So that is another aspect I am focusing on. So one is like I'm trying to help the our district leaders, and as a person also I'm trying to evolve as a better human being. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Now let us discuss about leadership philosophy. So, if leadership were reduced to one guiding principle, it would define your legacy. If your leadership journey could be summarized into one guiding principle, future generations must remember, what would it be? Richard, let's begin with you.
Demelash, I think you mentioned it at the beginning when you did my intro, and it's what my mantra has always been.
Yes.
Leadership's not about being the center of attention. It's about being the epicenter of action. If you just want to be a leader in the spotlight and not do anything, that's the wrong role for you. You make a greater impact being in the back, making decisions, helping others without that spotlight on you. You know, for those who have been distinguished district directors, you were the director of a distinguished district, not necessarily a distinguished district director. Your team got you there, right? So we need to make sure that we put that first. So for me, it's about putting others in the forefront. For me, it's about making the change. I don't need the spotlight shined on me. I really don't. I need the spotlight shined on my team for what they've done. I'm just one person guiding the way. They're the individuals who are making it happen.
Thank you so much, Mekedela.
I think this is one of the toughest questions, but I would love to relate it to something that I hold dear to my heart. I'm not sure how many of you have watched the movie The Bucket List by Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. And there is one powerful conversation that they have there. They talk about the philosophies of the ancient Egyptians, and they say when a person dies, when reaches at the gate of heaven, he gets asked two questions. Have you found joy in your life? That's the first question. And once the person answers that question, he gets another question. Have your life brought joy to others? And this is quite a very important question, I guess. And I take it from that and I see it from my everyday engagement. At the end of my everyday, have I made decisions that have made me feel happy and better today? And once I answer that question, the next one is, have my decisions brought betterment and happiness to others? If you ask me if I've answered all these questions every day effectively, no. I'm in the pursuit of answering it every day because life is always learning, bettering ourselves. As I said earlier, perfection is the illusion. Every day we have the opportunity to be better than what we were yesterday. And I'm that person pursuing betterment over perfection. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Titi and Mekedela. And Deepa, we will close with you.
I reflect both of them shared just now, more towards what Richard mentioned. Uh, and one of the leadership coaches mentioned, I think Simon Sinek, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. That's what that one principle I believe. It's not about us. It's about the people we are responsible for. And in that process, always be kind and be humble. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you.
This morning, we did more than listen. We decoded leadership. We learned that leadership is not position. It is responsibility, not visibility, but accountability, not ambition, but discipline, growth. May we leave this breakfast not inspired alone, but committed to excellence, committed to growth, committed to multiplying leaders and being the epicenter of action. Thank you to our distinguished speakers. Thank you to every leader present. Enjoy the rest of your breakfast and continue leading with purpose.
Thank you, Demelash. Thank you, leaders.
Thank you so much, all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Deepa Mekedela.
You are on mute.
Richard, you are on mute.
Deepa Mekedela, I actually met Robin Sharma at the international convention when he had just published that book. So I keep that book on my shelf because I think that's an important question to ask future leaders is, would you be willing to take on this role if there was no title attached to it? So I think it's a very, very powerful book to read.
Thank you very much. Now I'm jealous. Now I
Yeah,
am jealous.
no need to be jealous. There's a great book out there though for anyone who's interested, and I'll have to get the name. I get the author. I can send it to Demelash. It's called Lead Yourself First. And it talks about how, as a leader, you need to be able to lead yourself before you can lead others. And how, you have to be able to make those tough decisions, sometimes by yourself, escaping the noise. Right? Because we've all been in those positions where everyone has an opinion, right? And it makes it difficult to make a decision. So I'll get that. The author, I'll send it to Demelash, and he can send it out to everyone here so you have it. But I thought it was a very powerful book to read.
Good. While we are on the recommendation side, I would also like to recommend there is a book and at the same time a movie made out of it called The Shift from Ambition to Meaning.
Okay.
It is by Wayne Dyer. It's one of the most transformative books I've read because whenever we start our leadership journey, there is this ambition. Then once we truly realize why we are there, we start to embrace the meaning out of it. And it's something that I strongly urge everyone to read and watch. And the TED Talk that I mentioned earlier, the person's name is called Tai Lopez. Tai Lopez.
Isn't that an interesting thought process of going from the reason of ambition to do something to the doing it? And that's what I often ask individuals is the why. Why do you want to do this? And there's an ambition to do it, but then there's a reality that comes along with that ambition.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It's an absolute joy getting the opportunity to have the opportunity to speak amongst you.
Likewise, I learn from every leader I'm on a panel discussion with. There's always something that I take away. As a matter of fact, I've taken copious notes as we were going through this call today. So thank you for that. Thank you both. Thank you, Demelash, for inviting me. I really appreciate the offer to be here with you, and thank you for those little nuggets that I took away. Deepa, excellence is non-negotiable. Really like that. I think that's something that we need to really drive home. And Mekedela, nurtured by experience of others. I think that's so true, right? That's what mentors are there for, to help nurture us by their experience. So well done.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Something like a dream.
All right, everybody, have a great day.
Yes.
Okay,
Good
thank you
night,
so
Same.
much.
Richard.
And
Have
good
a
night.
very
Bye-bye.
good day, everyone.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Baron, hello, Baron.